Hello, everybody. I gotta tell you guys something. Yes, I heard that Trump is trying to give felons their guns rights back. Yes, it's a good idea, but yes, it's a bad idea. It's a good idea because, you know, people do need the right to defend themselves if anything happens, and if they don't have access to a firearm and someone who does still have their gun rights use a weapon against them, then that person cannot defend themselves. And also, what's the point of taking away firearms from felons when you know that there's so many people that are felons that have firearms? Look at all the gangs we have out there. A lot of gang members have firearms and they're convicted felons. Look at all the mafias, all the cartels, that have access to firearms. They could buy firearms from people that don't, that haven't lost their rights to have, their gun rights taken away. And then, boom, there you go. They have access to firearms again. So there's no point of taking away firearms from people because there's always going to be a chance to get a firearm. And not just firearms, but other weapons as well. Bows and arrows, swords, axes, knives, you know, anyone could get a weapon, and taking away those weapons away from people, people could use other things as weapons. For example, baseball bats, golf clubs, hockey sticks, you know, anything. You could use a bow staff. You could use a fork as a weapon. For God's sakes, it's ridiculous. The government has all these rules on weapon regulations, but it's just control. Anything could be used as a weapon. And what, are you going to take away forks from people? Or are you going to take away baseball bats from people? Or are you going to take away golf clubs from people? So, it just makes no sense. Anyone could get an access to a firearm, even a convicted felon, if they really want to. They're felons. They don't care about the law. They want to go kill someone with a gun. Look how many gun shootings of the gangs members and criminals have done, and they don't have no concern about the gun rights law thing. So, just give us our weapon rights back, and just stop with the control. People need to protect themselves. People have been using weapons for thousands of years, and the world's still here. Look at all the knights and all the freaking Romans and all the Egyptians and all the Celtic warriors for hundreds of years using weapons. And did those people get their weapons taken away? Nope. So why here in 2025, what's the point? What's the point? And look at the old West. People had duels with each other, and people shot each other with guns all the time, and they didn't get their weapons taken away. There was no gun control back then like they do now. It's all about power and control of the government. So just give us people our rights. We have the rights to defend ourselves. It's a human right to protect yourselves and your family. And even if you don't even have a criminal felony of violence, you still get your weapons rights taken away. You could have stole something from the store and then get your gun rights taken away. You could have accidentally ran over somebody and got a DUI, and you still get your gun rights taken away, even though it has nothing to do with a weapon. Any felony you get your gun rights taken away. It makes no sense. You didn't use a weapon, so why do you lose your weapons rights? And then people assume, oh, it's because they're a felon, they're going to eventually use a weapon. That's assuming, being judgmental. So, America, hopefully you watch this video, and take care, TikTokers. Bye.